Thank you, the panelists. Since there is at the moment, we are really strict with the timing, I would like to pass the floor to the audience. So the floor is yours now. And I'm open to get your question. I would say we have time more or less for 3 questions maximum. So if there is anyone who wants to intervene, now it's the moment. Please raise your hands and we'll rush to you with the microphone. Okay, Martin, you're close, very good.
I have a challenging question maybe to you, Philippe. So my question is, do you think that central regulated platforms like the European Balancing Platform and private ones like the one you built, can they coexist? Can they function together? And my question is, if they can coexist, should the consumers or the ones who offer services, should they arbitrage? So I offer a service today with the DSO platform, tomorrow to the DSO platform, or should these platforms somehow communicate to each other so that the consumer shouldn't be arbitrage day to day?
So thank you. This is a great question, and I think it's very relevant for today because the FutureFlow project has been mostly about balancing, and we've been talking here about congestion management. They need to work together, and I think because these platforms, the Terre, Mari, Picasso, are going to arrive over the next few years, we need to find how to make them as complementary as possible. Our view at EPEX is that the technological improvements from the market that have improved significantly over the last decade with automation of trading, for example, today, out of 250 participants on the intraday, more than half, actually almost 2/3, are already trading totally automated. So they have an automated trading application connected to the API and trading. These robots allow for a lot more efficiency into this arbitrage potential that you mentioned, and but we're not going to embed it into the market as such. We will let the market parties do so. This is let's say the definition of the decentralized platform that we have is that it gives these responsibilities to the market parties because they are the best suited in order to deal with this complex trade-off and arbitrage. I prefer using trade-off than arbitrage because it's not actually I'm arbitraging selling to a local area or to the national market. That doesn't work. You either sell to the national market or you can't sell to the national because your asset is binding is committed on a local area. But the choice of where do I think there's the most value and the ability to do this trade-off in a almost real time and in milliseconds, because that's the ability they have now with the technological improvements, will strongly facilitate these choices for the market parties. But it's all in their hands. They are the BRBs. They are in charge of their balance responsibility, and they're also in charge of their portfolio. So they will know best where to put these assets or how to value them best.
Thank you both. Other questions from the audience? By the way, it's very interesting that also high frequency trading is no more a bank prerogative, but is also entering into the energy field. So in a way, it's frightening. On the other side,
let's say it's maybe not exactly high frequency. We're not talking about the nanoseconds trading. I mean, it's still relatively fast, but not necessarily high frequency. Yeah. But it's certainly fully automated. That's high frequency.
Other questions over there? Yes. It's not a job. No, let's do one thing. Can you please pass the microphone behind you?
Hello, from the Austrian Institute of Technology. My question is related to the incentives. We heard today a lot about the regulatory barriers, the technical barriers, the economical barriers that exist today for prosumers on different scales, commercial, industrial, and households to participate. And what I heard from today's presentations is that actually the incentives for different types of consumers or prosumers are rather different. So, for example, before we heard a statement that prosumers are interested in a higher cause rather than really earning any money with their assets. At the same time, we heard the presentation from an industrial active customer managing to generate real savings, so save actual costs with their flexibility. And this brought me in my mind to the next aspect, which is now a real high the energy communities that are also, there's also discussion of what kind of incentives can be given to those and what under which conditions can they, for example, provide their flexibility. So my question is, first to, I guess, all of you, do you believe that right now there are sufficient economic incentives to provide flexibility? And B, how important is it? Should it be somehow enshrined in the regulatory framework that, for example, a prosumer should have a possibility to generate an economic benefit from providing flexibility? Or should it stay in the realm of traditional commercial private actors in the electricity sector? Thank you.
Who wants to answer?
Not all at the time.
Okay, since this is about barriers and maybe also regulatory barriers, I can try to kick off. Well, sometimes probably the regulators have to play the role as a barrier. Because not all kind of proposals make sense. Sometimes we need to stop something. So maybe we are partly a barrier by nature. I mean, this was, of course, just a half-serious answer. I think we need to be careful not to confuse between regulatory barriers and economic barriers. Yeah, because indeed some things just don't make sense economically. And there is not always a regulatory barrier then the reason. To provide also one example, what we have done when I reported about this increase in balancing participants, we have indeed provided for a kind of light-handed exemption within the network tariff system to allow some prosumers to participate or to make it easier for them. But what was a side condition in that regime is that we didn't lose overall kind of network revenue. Yeah, so because they would have paid something which they wouldn't have paid otherwise. So society overall didn't lose money. So that was an easygoing incentive then, because it was a win-win situation. But that provides maybe an answer already, because yes, prosumer should be incentivized and should be able to make money, provided that it contributes to overall efficiency. Yeah, I mean, if it contributes just to the profits of somebody, then they should be incentivized.
Thank you, Sven, for the answer. Now we got last question from here, still from the middle of the classroom. Please.
Thank you. Artemi Voroshlov, Smart Energy and Water. And I want to build on the previous question, which was great. We're all here on the overarching theme of prosumers as guardians. Just wondering, this is clearly not a consumer market project or a gathering, but how is the voice of mortals on the street, the customers, being integrated or taken as an input to all the activities here? Because I don't feel comfortable with being prosumer, right? So I I understand what's implied, but that just sucks. So how is the real voice and the real needs are being sort of input into this? Thank you.
So we have a very interesting question about segmentation of producers, or prosumers in particular. So we have the households who are willing to produce and to sell electricity to the grid. We have industrial prosumers, and then we have all possible kind of prosumers. So actually, what is your views about the need of making a more structured approach in order to understand better the needs of prosumers? Do they need also, if I can integrate your question, is there a segment of prosumers who need more regulation? Is there a segment of producers that need just 2 beers? What are the needs of the different? So first of all, the question could be what are the different segments in your views, and what are the incentives for each of these segments? The question is open, so if the first one of you who has an idea about that is very welcome to answer. So Philippe.
Thank you, Carl. Let me take this from the power exchange point of view. Currently, today in the wholesale market, there are mainly large consumers that are participating directly, but this is not let's say the most mainstream case, because even the very large consumers are using our customers like utilities or trading companies to access the wholesale market. So now the question is, what about residential consumers? Well, this is even we can go even further. We haven't seen, of course, residential consumers participating directly, but they do it through aggregation, through demand response companies. There are more and more aggregators that are specialized in demand response of residential consumers through smart metering techniques, and then we find them through these aggregators or the utilities in the wholesale market, or for example in the capacity market, in the case of the French capacity market. So it's all, even for industrial users, the answer is they don't participate directly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is already a part of the answer.
Yeah, very good.